Welcome to the PHNX Coyotes postgame show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I want to start off by a hilarious comment in the chat. I think the Penguins just scored again.
I know.
There's
it
a
feels
chance.
like that way, right? The longer this one went, the more goals were going on the board. It's as Yogi Berra said, this is deja vu all over again. I mean, this is the Ranger game. We get 3-1 lead, and the other team goes, okay, wait a minute, we're better than this. Let's turn it on. And I tell you what, that third period, the Pittsburgh Penguins look like the Pittsburgh Penguins. Crosby, Malkin, Rust, they were just better. And they dominated the game at the start of the third period until the end of the third period. And they were just the better team.
I mean, at least the Coyotes mixed it up and gave us a third period collapse as opposed to a second period collapse.
Well, even better, they had a third period lead. Like it was 3-2. I had to go check my stats again because it felt like that was like early in the first when they were ahead, but no, it was because it got ugly in the third. Like the shots on goal in the third at one point were they 12-1, then 13-1 in shots in the third period alone. And you can't win a hockey game like that against a good team. You can't let them hang around. And if you go back and dissect how this happened, I hate to say it, it's penalties again. And you can't put a team like that with that kind of skill on the power play and let them back in the game. And all they had to do was stay close, because if they stay close, they have the guns that can go out and win. And we've talked about all season long teams that have that player or those superstar players that, McKinnon, McDavid, Crosby, that can jump over the boards and expect them to score. Keller's a nice player. He's an all-star. He's playing great this year. He's not that. He's not when he steps on the ice, they go, oh shit, Keller's on the ice, we're in trouble. When another team has that, they always have a chance to get back into a game. And that's what happened. They just played better. They moved the puck better. And as Tyson Nash says, it ends up in the back of the net.
And every time I felt like Matt would say, oh, like the Penguins power play, Crosby, Malkin, Rust, Gensel, Letang. It's like, how did they not score? Like, how did they not score?
Right. That's a good hockey team. They didn't win cups
it's a very
on
good
accident. Right? Like this is a team right now that in the East, and if people listen to Rick talk it yesterday, he said this is the team he thinks can win the East. And so they're on fire. They're the second hottest team in the National Hockey League right now. They're 16-2 in their last 18. Only Colorado's better at 17-1. So actually it was 17-1-2, but you get the point. They're really darn good right now. So when you're playing one of the best teams in the league, you have to do the most important thing. We harp on it on this show over and over and over. You have to defend. And I don't know if you watch that third period and the way the Coyotes left men open, turned pucks over, man, it sure didn't look like they were defending very well in front of Karel Vejmelka tonight. And that's you need to defend better, period.
Yeah, and people in the comments already bringing up the Chychrun mistake on that one goal, which we'll get to. We'll go through the whole game, but let's just start with the overview. This game by the numbers. It was one of those where you look and it's the third period, all of a sudden you say to yourself, the Coyotes only had 16 shots on goal. Like, I just, for some reason, I think because they scored 3 goals, it was just hard to believe that they only ended the game with 16 shots.
Yeah, and that's how many times on this trip we said 16, 17, 16, 17. Again,
you can't win games that way.
Right. And if you have 16 shots, you're going to have to win 2-1 or 1-0. You can't get in a shootout if you're only getting 16 shots on net. You're right, though. It didn't feel like that through 2. They only had 11 shots through 2 periods. And I don't know if it felt like that.
It didn't, and the Penguins had 36 shots, 6 goals, so scoring 1 every 6 times, if you want to break it down that way. Coyotes 1 for 2 on the power play, Penguins 2 for 3, and that's what you said. It's just you can't allow that team to have power play opportunities. And what bothered me about this game in particular was Liam O'Brien, once again, going to the box back-to-back, and one of them was for a delay of game penalty, which is just not a good penalty to take. Obviously, no penalty is a good penalty to take, but that one seems like it should be relatively avoidable, and the Penguins capitalize.
Yeah, you know what? You look at it. We talk about O'Brien a lot here too. He's in the penalty box 2 more times tonight. Usually, it's not for putting the puck over the glass. I got to give him that one. It's usually for a stick infraction or a body foul. But not for putting the puck over the glass. So that's a little bit rare. But again, you can't sit in the penalty box against a team that has that firepower on their power play. You just can't. And that really was the turning point of the game. Even though the Coyotes take the 3-2 lead, and let's give the Coyotes credit too. They score a power play goal. I thought their power play moved the puck well, and Clayton Keller off the power play coming off the pass from Gostisbehere and picking that corner. That's a hell of a shot, and that's what he can do. He's got the skill that he can beat a goalie clean. There's no tip, there's no screen. Goalie sees it. That's a hell of a shot. That's an all-star shot.
That was awesome.
So it's good to see their power play get clicking too.
Yeah, for sure. That was the Coyotes' first power play goal since January 6th. They had been 0 for 26 since then. So good to see the Coyotes' power play get some action. A lot of action on the special teams tonight for both teams. Schmaltz, was this his best game of the season so far?
He doubled his output on his goals. He comes into the game with 2 goals. I thought he played well, and he's getting to the net, and he's making those one-on-one plays that he needs to make. He still has to show now. The big key is, what does he do on Friday against the Boston Bruins? He needs to show up again. And that's been the knock on Schmaltz for his entire career, or at least his time here spent in Arizona. It's, can he put the second game together? Can he put the next shift together with a good shift? He needs to show that consistency. Oh, there we go, Leah. It's back.
We're back. The Street Racers are back.
We're back home. And Mark said, go. But yeah, it's great to see him get that success. So he doubles his goal output from 2 to 4. I thought he was around the puck more. I thought he made nice plays. I thought we're seeing what we want to see out of Nick Schmaltz. But again, he's got to do it again Friday, and then he's got to do it again Saturday. And that's what we're seeing from Clayton Keller, where he's been able to put all of these games together, and he put a 200-foot game together, and he's playing consistently well. Schmaltz needs to do the same.
Monsieur Solon always coming in with the super chats and always coming in with flipping the perspective upside down. What a win tonight. You know, if you want to look at it that way. These think they have a chance to win a cup by giving up 3 goals on 15 shots. What a terrible joke for a fraudulent has-been franchise. I don't know. I think the Penguins are going to make a run, but that's just my opinion. But we appreciate the super chat.
The upside down standings thing is working for us, the Coyote fans today, right? I think last I looked, the Senators were beating up on the Buffalo Sabres 4-0 in the third.
4-0.
Yeah, so it looks like they may move up in the standings over those pesky Yotes.
Yeah, and the Coyotes actually play Buffalo this weekend on Saturday, and I believe Sean will be at that game. So yes, he will. So that should be an interesting one, because Buffalo has slid from their relatively quote unquote hot start. Just the start, I guess, that we didn't expect from them.
Thanks for the update, Charles.
Oh, thank you. Yes, thanks, Charles. But just finishing up the conversation on Schmaltz, we, of course, crowned Schmaltz our DraftKings king of the game. 2 goals, 1 assist. Great night for him. Had points on all 3 Coyotes goals tonight. So, again, we hope that he can build on that momentum and carry that into this weekend, like you said. And hopefully this is, this was halfway through the season tonight, and he was out with injury for a lot of it. So hopefully for him at this point, this is the point where he's finding his legs and finding his groove, because you want to see the individual efforts of people on this team succeed. If this is how the season's going to go, I mean, the Coyotes have a horrible record, but so you would just hope that individual players can have success.
Yeah, and you have to look for those those performances individually on the offensive side of the puck. And we've talked about Clayton Keller and Phil Kessel at times, Lawson Krause at times. It's nice to see another guy join that group, but he's going to have to do it on a more consistent basis, because this team is hurting for offense on a nightly basis. So Nick Schmaltz is just going to have to find a way to do it again and again. It's great. He had a great output tonight. Let's hope he can continue this Friday and Saturday, because he needs to.
Definitely. Well, Craig's calls. It's living room Craig. Right?
Turn off the laser.
Oh no, the people want the laser. My street gang has already made an appearance. So
yeah, you missed the first race of the evening.
Oh, nice.
Well, Craig, Who did you talk to in the post-game availability tonight?
Just Nick Schmaltz and Andre Tourigny. We've been doing this a lot lately off of losses on the road where we just get one player and the coach and let them get on their merry way. And I don't know, you guys have probably already hashed through all this, but what do you say? They got outscored 17-6 in the final 3 games of this series. Look, you can say that they were opportunistic tonight. They got 3 goals. They had a lead, but let's be honest, the Penguins were all over them most of the game, and it felt like a matter of time before the floodgates were going to open, and sure enough, they did.
And Craig, it's kind of the same formula that we've seen over and over again. It's the defensive zone structure. It's leaving people all alone in front of the goaltender, and it's untimely turnovers. And it's that one mistake leads to the second, that leads to the third, and leads to a goal. And they're going to have to find a way to defend better if they're only going to get 16 shots on goal.
I keep thinking about you've been saying that all season, and when you're constructed the way the Coyotes are constructed, you're not going to score a lot of goals. So you have to sort of accept who you are and play a style that is most conducive to winning. And it while you can say some good things about how Andre Tourigny's teams continue to play hard and they really are bought in and they really do seem to be supporting each other, that's troubling to me that they haven't figured that out halfway through the season now. And we reached the midpoint of the season tonight. They're still not defending well. And look, some of that happens because they're defending all the damn time, and you're going to have breakdowns when you're just getting dominated in possession. But some of the mistakes they make you would think that they would have corrected some of those things by now. They're fundamental mistakes or their mental errors or what's Jacob Chychrun doing at the offensive blue line on that one goal tonight, just waiting for the puck to get to him instead of making sure he gets to it and not allowing the odd man rush the other way. Those are the mistakes that you can't figure out at this stage of the season.
And there's 2 things. This team hasn't shown that they're able to recover from those mistakes and move on offensively and go, okay, well, we gave that one up. We're going to get by. Chick, hey, it's okay, buddy. We're going to get that one back for you. They haven't shown that. They haven't shown the ability to defend. And I will say this, the goals on the power play, those are unbelievable goals by an incredibly high-skilled hockey team. Like, I'm not faulting anybody on those PK goals, but when you go past those, if you go back and look at some of the soft plays that they made in their defensive zone when they're moving the puck or trying to get the puck out of the zone or going to retrieve a puck, it's, those things can be corrected. That's just a little bit of, elbow grease and, hey, let's get the puck out of the zone. They used to talk funny when the Polish Olympic team would play the Canadian Olympic team. You got no chance. So we'd call it Polish defending. You'd call it Polish defending. You'd put 5 guys back inside your zone all the time. And you just flip the puck back out over. You flip it over, and you hope at some point in the game you're going to get a breakaway the other way, and you can win 1-0. And that's what we talk about defending. They have to defend better. And if they don't, they're going to end up like this more often because guess what? Friday, it's Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. This is Rick Tocchet said Pittsburgh was his team in the East. I really like the Boston Bruins, and I think if they get good, solid goaltending, I like their defense, and I think this team is deep. I like Boston. Boy, it doesn't get any easier on Friday night.
Absolutely not.
They get Buffalo on Saturday.
Yeah, and coming off a big ass kicking tonight, they're having a tough time tonight with the Senators 5-0 final for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, not a good week for Buffalo. Sorry, Sean.
Wow. Too soon, Leah. Too soon.
Well, Craig, what we've really touched on so far was just Schmaltz doubling his scoring output. We talked about the penalties against the Coyotes that resulted in, and just how good the Penguins are. What else from this game do you want to highlight?
I think you hit it on the head, Craig. I think that was it.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, and maybe you guys may have already touched on this. It was nice to see him have this sort of game where you see, okay, there's the dynamic through the middle of the ice guy that we've seen on occasion in the past, and it's been such a disjointed season for him with injuries and COVID, but we haven't seen enough of that from Nick Schmaltz. I mean, we talk about this with a lot of players, but consistency, it hasn't been there for Nick Schmaltz his entire time as a Coyote. Can this be a time where he launches into it? I don't know. I almost feel like the body of evidence is out on Nick Schmaltz at this point, that we're going to get some glimpses of just immense talent like this. And then there are other stretches where he just doesn't have an impact on the game.
And what do you both think about Vejmelka's performance tonight? Because, it's not like the team really helped him in front, but there were some plays I feel like that could have been prevented.
I don't know. Like I can't fault him on that. This is you get that pass between Sidney Crosby's legs, and they move the puck so well, and a couple of them are deceptive. When Sidney Crosby scores that goal where he's driving through the middle, he's surrounded by 3 Coyotes. For Crosby to be able to pick the puck out of that pile was amazing. I don't know how we expect Vejmelka to pick it up out of that pile. I don't have a problem. I didn't think he was swimming. I don't think he was. Hey, he wasn't his 46th save shutout in Winnipeg performance, Vejmelka. He wasn't that. But I don't necessarily have a problem with the way he played tonight, Craig.
Yeah, I thought there was maybe one goal that he could have stopped, and you want your goalie to make big saves. You want him to steal a couple, but yeah, there were some world-class goals in this game tonight. Brian Boyle's goal was ridiculous too. Pittsburgh's
but again, all alone, right? All alone in front of the net.
Literally
How many tonight were a guy all alone in front of the net? It was just too many times. Yeah. The last thing for me, and I don't know where you're at with Craig with this on the information you have. So now they're coming back home. They don't play till Friday. You've got Roussel and Dzingel are in COVID. We haven't heard much about
Mayo too.
Roussel is out of the COVID protocols. He was actually with them in Pittsburgh, but they just decided not to play him because he hadn't
practice time.
Isn't Mayo in protocol too still?
Yeah.
Okay.
So is there any news on either, like, we haven't talked about Beagle in a long time. Is there anything new with Beagle?
No, I mean, that timeline was pretty long, so he's just in the rehab.
So no reinforcements are coming for Friday.
Yeah. I mean, Roussel could be back in the lineup. Dzingel could be as well, but it's.
And last time Dzingel came back after missing time, he got 2 goals, including the game winner. So let's hope he can give it a little bit of a spark coming into play, the Boston Bruins. Let's hope.
Absolutely. Well, I know this is like so early in the show to get to this, but we've brought it up like 3 times. Tonight was halfway through the Coyote season. This is 41 games tonight. So let's look at the punch card. Halfway. There's Petey's sound effect from his phone. That was very good, Petey.
Can you believe it's only halfway?
It's space.
I cannot believe it's halfway. Sometimes it feels like the season is an eternity. Like we're almost at the end of January. We should be farther. And again, you go to COVID protocols and so forth on games getting canceled. So we are a little behind. But to Bill Armstrong and his crew, you're 41 games through and you're almost exactly where you wanted to be.
Yeah. The record right now is 10-27-4. And that's halfway. So can the Coyotes win 20?
We talked about 20 being the number. And actually, I think if we go back and rewind the preseason show, I'm pretty sure we said 18. I'm pretty sure we said it's 18. And if you take into account the trade deadline and what this team is going to look like after that, 18 might be a pretty good number. And it would be one of the few things that we've got right on this show, because when we rewind and pick our Calder and our
Islanders
MVP,
Stanley Cup winner.
Yeah, I had Louis Eriksson leading the team in goals. How's that turning out? So yeah,
Chychrun. I think I had Chychrun leading the team in points.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also have him as a fixture of the franchise going forward. So.
Yeah. So we'll just skip all of that and say we were really close on the team wins.
Oh man. Well, the Coyotes are halfway through the season, but right now the NFL is wrapping up, and this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can bet on any of the 4 remaining teams to win their game. Bet $5, and if they win, you will win $280 in free bets. So counting down to Super Bowl 56, new customers who sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app using the promo code PHNX can get 56-1 odds on any team. If you're not a new customer, you can do same game parlays, do multiple game parlays, just make it more fun. It definitely adds to the excitement watching football when you're betting on it. So be sure to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up at $5 and on a team to win. And if they do, you get $280 in free bets. That's 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details. All right, I missed a super chat from Mr. Stalin again. Be nice to Chychrun. He literally can't buy one. I know. it's hasn't been his.
Yeah, he wasn't around it offensively. I thought he was on this trip. He had a few opportunities. He had a couple of one-timers, but I didn't feel that from him tonight. I didn't feel like he was the offensive threat that we still want him to be. And I don't know if it's confidence. We've talked about it all season, but hopefully the corner turns from him in the second half.
I can't help but wondering if this is weighing on him. All the rumors. I don't know how you block it out as a player when you're hearing all those rumors on a daily basis. And it's ridiculous how many times I read something about Jakob Chychrun possibly going somewhere or the offers for him. It's been going on for more than a month now. It's crazy. You're only human. There's no way you can block that out entirely.
Yeah, and I know you hear a lot. Well, they're professional athletes, and hang on, he's a kid. He's literally a kid who owns a home here and going, okay, gosh, I read this article today says I might be going to Boston. Oh, tomorrow, gosh, I heard I might be going to Florida. Can you imagine getting up in the morning and not knowing, or there's an opportunity that you may be leaving your home and your friends and the only franchise you've ever known? I mean, how does it not affect you? If you're not, you're kidding yourself. I get it. I do understand for a veteran player that's 30, 35, that's been through this 5-6 times, that knows, like Riley Nash. Riley Nash has been around. He's been on several teams. So if he wakes up tomorrow and says, oh, we're waiving you and you're going someone else, it's different. He's living in a hotel. He didn't build roots here. So for it not to affect him, I think it's difficult. You hope he can find a way to play through it because this team really needs his offense. But to say that it doesn't affect somebody is really, really hard to just dust it off as, hey, get through it, kid.
Petey, how do you think pro scouts react when they're coming through to see Jakob Chychrun play this season, knowing what's on the table, knowing it's going to take a lot? I mean, in some ways it's a small sample, but now we're through half a season and he's really struggled this season. So if you're a pro scout reporting back to your GM who's relying on your advice on whether he should make this trade or not, what's your takeaway? What are you telling the GM?
It's a gamble because when you look at Jakob Chychrun's body of work, he's never been an outstanding defender. And his rush reads, we've always said, gosh, we wish he was a little bit better. And he's going to mature into that defensive player. But you always could say he can score. He's always a threat on the power play. You take that away, gosh, if you're a scout right now, you're putting your neck on the line because they are asking such a high price. He better pay off. The thing is where these other teams are looking for Jakob Chychrun to fit into their lineup. Jakob Chychrun's not going to be a 1-2 on these teams running to a Stanley Cup final. He's going to be a 3-4. And if you put Chychrun in a 3-4 role, give him power play starts, offensive zone starts, change his role, put him with an experienced defenseman on the back end, lessen his defensive liability time, I think there's something still there. And that's going to be the gamble. Can you give up those assets, whether it's 1 or 2 first-round picks? Is it a prospect and a player? Whatever that package looks like, it's going to be a big package. And you are hoping that Jakob Chychrun, with a little confidence and the right mix with the right players, can be the guy that we've seen in the past. I think he can offensively. I still don't know what his ceiling is in the defensive end, but I know he can play offensively, and his numbers are going to come back at some point, whether it's here or at another team. That's what I think.
I like the conspiracy theories in the chat that he's tanking his own trade value. So that's a funny theory. And also, as a transition, Nick actually just said in the chat for something fun. How about Yandle? Nice accomplishment. We are for sure going to talk about Keith Yandle tonight, and we're going to do it now because there is 15 seconds left in that game. Islanders up 4-3. Philadelphia has the empty net, so it looks like, barring something happening, that game will end soon. And I believe, Craig, are you going to be going to the Philadelphia Flyers post-game availability?
TBD. We're well into this show now. What are we, 30 minutes in? So with the timing of it, I'm not sure. Maybe not. We have some good video of Keith now. I think that's usable, that we can show people that pretty much how it feels.
Definitely do. So for those who may not be aware, although it has been all over the internet today, tonight, Keith Yandle broke Doug Jarvis's Ironman record streak tonight. He'd held that record since 1987, and he passed him tonight with 965 consecutive games played. This is the graphic updated right before he had that accomplishment, but as you can see here, this is the list. Yandle passed Jarvis tonight, and in third place is Phil Kessel, who by the end of the season, barring any injury or anything else, could also pass Doug Jarvis. It doesn't seem like he'll pass Yandle, once again, barring anything happening, but just an absolutely insane list to see.
Yeah, and Petey, you were here. I mean, you were inside the dressing room with Keith, so you know as well as anyone. The thing that people always talk about with him is what a great teammate he was, how he lifted guys with his sense of humor, with his positivity. Really happy to see this happen for him. Obviously, a lot of Coyotes fans would have loved to see it happen in Arizona because he was such a fixture of this franchise for so long, and really still the brunt of those games that we just talked about on the graphic were played in a Coyotes sweater. So it would be great to be able to sort of honor him here, but maybe they'll get that opportunity at some point.
What surprises me most about this list is of those guys that you put up on the screen, 3 of them are modern day players in the modern day game. And the way this game speed has picked up, it's so much more dangerous because of the speed. For these guys to get through that and be able to play this long in this era of hockey, to me, is absolutely amazing. Now, I would like to know how many times that it came close for Keith Yandle to go, gosh, and it, under normal circumstances, if it was any other player, that he would have been out of a lineup either with illness or with injury, because I've seen it from the Phil Kessel side. And there were times you're like, we got to the rink in the morning and you're like, there's no way Phil can play today. Like, there's no way. He can barely walk. Like, and that wasn't once or twice. That's a handful of times. You can't walk. And somehow, between, 10 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock game time, he squeezes his foot in a boot and he gets out there and plays. So that's a testament to those guys. And for what Craig said about Keith Yandle, he's a guy that has priorities straight. He understood it's a game. He has fun out there playing hockey. It's probably why he could play so long, because he has fun doing it. He has fun every time he steps on the ice. One of the best teammates, and you've talked to plenty of players here, Craig, that have played with him. He's one of the best teammates and best guys in the game. So it couldn't happen to somebody nicer. I'm absolutely thrilled for Keith Yandle.
Just want to make sure I address the super chat from Sammy G. We need to get the hockey eye on PHNX. Also, to the other teams in the NHL, you want Chychrun, give GM Bill Armstrong a king's ransom. Also, congrats, Yandle, just hitting on all the topics, Sammy. Thank you for your super chat. Lots of comments, everyone missing Yandle. I will never forget that trade and how sad I was when that happened. And
that was like the first of my time covering the Coyotes. I really remember being struck by that one, in spite of what they were getting at the time. It looked really interesting what they were getting from the Rangers, but it was tough on a lot of people in that room to see Keith Yandle headed out.
Definitely. And something he had said in his availability was, every day that I get to play with an NHL jersey on my chest is like, I don't take that for granted. And I think that kind of goes back to what you said about he just loves playing the game. And there's sometimes you have to have your attitude overcome some of that physical pain or anything that would bar you from getting that record. So really great to see from Yandle, and we'll get to what everyone has to say about Keith, but let's hear what he has to say himself about this accomplishment and also about his time in Arizona.
I've said it a million times. This Shane Doan is the number one guy that helped me, took me under his wing as soon as I got there. And then another guy, Derek Morris, he was my D partner. He taught me a lot on the ice and off the ice. 2 guys, Shane and Derek, that I drove to the rink with. Guys that I, really enjoyed being around, and definitely helped mold me into being a pro and seeing the game a little bit differently. I remember Ray Whitney said to me when I was young, he said, as long as there's a NHL symbol on your jersey, that means you're having a good day. So I've taken that for granted. I haven't taken that for granted. Sorry, that we play in the best league in the world with the best guys, and it's truly a blessing to put on an NHL uniform every day.
It's just crazy to even imagine that career and this accomplishment started here in the desert. And I think we have another graphic that shows breaking down team by team where all those games were played, and the majority of them were here in Arizona.
On the topic of longevity for those three modern era guys. I actually did a story a couple of years ago on Patrick Marleau, Phil Kessel, and Keith Yandle. And one of the things, Petey, JP Major used to be the Coyotes strength and conditioning coordinator. One of the things he said to me is just sports science is so much better than it used to be. Their training methods, everything that they do, taking care of the body is better than it used to be. And he thought that probably played into the streaks that we're seeing. I always wonder what it's like to be Patrick Marleau right now, who was right in the race for this with the other two guys and then just couldn't find a taker. I don't even know if he's officially retired yet. So the streak, I think, is officially still alive, but at his age, he's probably not going to, at this point, he's just getting lapped by the other two guys. So it's not like he even has a chance anymore.
You're right. And someone brought up in the comments that it's in the earlier era, guys didn't wear helmets. So it's much more dangerous. So there are things that you can see prolonging it. The equipment is better. The training is better. The diets are better. The way these guys train and prepare is better. But the one thing over the last 2 seasons, there's one thing you can't control, and that's COVID. And for these guys not to end up on the COVID-19 list, I'm so glad Jans got there tonight, because I never wanted to put that out into the universe, because you can't control that. You can't tape that. You can't wrap that up in a better bandage and get out and play. So to do that is just amazing. And I wonder, I'd like to ask him if over the last 2 months he is masking up everywhere and being as cautious as he possibly can with hand sanitizer and gloves, just knowing he had to make
tape up his nose so when they do the swabs.
Yeah, something. It's absolutely amazing. And they say this on all of these big records: when or how does it ever get beaten? And I think when you look at Kessel and Yandle, it's going to come down to who plays the longest. Does somebody sign Kessel next year? Or does he have a job next year? Does he go to a trade deadline? It's really going to be who signs these guys. And that's what happened to Marleau. So we'll wait and see. I think they're both still effective players. So I think that there is still time for them to play more. But who knows how it ends.
Definitely.
Ray Whitney and Derek Morris still live in Arizona. Yeah, I believe. Well, I know Witz does, and I believe Morris lives here too, because he's still coaching, right, Petey?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
So we were giving, our 2 cents on Yandle and how he is as a guy, but Shane Doan and Adrian Coyne and Doug Jarvis also had some stuff to say. So we'll start with the Shane Doan quote on Keith Yandle. He said, "I have hundreds of Yan stories. Everyone does, because he connects with everyone and makes everyone feel like they're his best friend. It's his gift and he uses it well. He makes people's lives around him better with his positive attitude and his eagerness to make sure they're enjoying themselves and feel important." And I just like everything that I read about Keith Yandle, and I never had the chance to interact with him like you guys did, but you can see almost why he has this record. It's like we said it, he loves the game, his teammates love him, and it's still fun for him. So just a great quote from Shane Doan on Keith Yandle.
Yeah, we're going to put him in the back pocket of the PHNX on our list of guys we got to get on the show. I'm sure he's going to get 1 or 2 interview requests in the next 24 hours.
No.
So we'll put it off into the future, and maybe in a show during the off season we can get him in where he's relaxed and sit and really talk about his career here and how the questions we just asked. How do you stay healthy for that long? How do you do it? Like, what do you do? And I've watched him. He's not a killer in the gym. Like, he's not the guy that he's like, he does what he's got to do. He's in shape and he's physically conditioned, but he's not the guy that busting his ass in there every day, killing it. So
maybe he and Phil Kessel have the secret then.
Maybe that's it.
Honestly, what the heck?
That's so true. The rest of the league.
Oh my God.
We'll just have to see.
That's hilarious. Well, that's what Adrian Coyne touched on in his quote about Yandle. If you pull it up, he said, we'll get to that in a second. Sammy, the O'Coyne quote about Yandle, he said, "Truly an amazing accomplishment. I can't imagine how many bumps, bruises, muscle tweaks you'd have to play through to never miss a game during that stretch. Block shots, retrieving pucks with crazy forecheckers, so many possibilities for injuries, pretty much impossible." It's so true. That's exactly what we said. And while we're at it, we'll just pull up the Jarvis quote on both Yandle and Kessel. I think it's just a credit to their perseverance, their desire, their hunger to play, and their consistency to be in the lineup night after night. That has value to their teams.
And that's the other part. You can talk about injuries and stuff, but there are, especially earlier in both of their careers, where there were a time when there's lineup decisions. This guy, he doesn't mix well with this team, or you know what, he's not hot right now. Let's give him a seat and let him put him up in the press box for a few games. That happens, especially early in a career. So you could see it, not only the injuries, but being able to stay in the lineup every day. And Wally Pipp was a guy who took his spot. Who took Wally? Who did Wally Pipp? Was it Joe DiMaggio took Wally Pipp's spot one day? And you can't miss. You can't. Oh, it was Lou Gehrig. I'm sorry. It was Lou Gehrig. Wally Pipp, he missed one day. And guess what? Lou Gehrig went in and never missed another game. You have to fight for your job every day because there's some 19, 20, 21-year-old kid behind you that's working just as hard as you are trying to take your job away. So these guys prepare, they plan, and they work hard when they hit the ice. And you can say that of both of those two players. When they hit the ice, they work hard on every shift. And we talked about consistency early in the game. Watch Phil Kessel when he plays. I mean, he doesn't always score. He's not always successful, but I tell you what, he sure as hell is trying. And you can say the same about Keith Yandle.
For sure. Well, I just want to make sure we acknowledge Sammy's super chat. Why is Mike Smith such a hothead?
But have you seen the standings? How do you not get hot?
I don't know. The Oilers are coming in hot for the tank. I don't know. And the Flyers.
It's 0-0 in the Canucks right now. 5 minutes in. So we'll see. I don't even know who's in goal. HK, I guess.
The Flyers are coming for the tank too. I don't know.
Well, thank gosh the Coyotes built up such a buffer there, because those teams have to really fall like that. Like the Oilers, that's a 16-point lead. I think they're pretty safe. And the Flyers, man, the Flyers, they got 10 points. They're 10 points behind the Flyers. That's a lot of hockey games. So
yeah, but the Oilers will just jump them in the lottery anyway, like they always.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, who wins the lottery? If it's going to be the Flyers, the Oilers, or the Coyotes, well, the Coyotes are going to get third in that. I don't care what the competition is.
Buffalo next.
Buffalo sneaks in. Edmonton's going to get it. Edmonton's going to get their 7th first-round pick in 20 years. You wait.
There will be riots in the streets.
Should be riots in the streets. I'll leave.
Mr. Stalin, why no PHNX Roadrunners? Last super chat of the night, LOL. There is no PHNX Roadrunners, but here at PHNX Coyotes, we do cover the Roadrunners. In fact, we will have another episode of Down the I-10 coming for you this week. So stay tuned for that on the PHNX YouTube channel, as well as the PHNX Coyotes, wherever you get your podcast. It will be both video and audio. We also have plans to hopefully go down to Tucson and actually just cover a Roadrunners game. But we have seen a lot of the Roadrunners players come up to the Coyotes this season, and Craig is always doing his prospect reports at gophnx.com. So if you haven't checked those out as well, become a member and do so. And by the way, you guys, do you see my new shirt? Southwest bias. Love it. I also got my Coyotes sticker pack today. And
give me a sticker pack.
I got my Back the A shirt. Let's go.
Yeah, mine came in the mail today too, Leah. Nice shirt. I know Craig's is probably on back order.
Yeah, Craig is not getting a Back the A shirt.
He's not?
No,
not getting.
But Sean, you guys can't see Sean, but he's throwing a forks up down below. I can see him doing it. But yeah,
is our name TCSN Sports? Is that what it is?
TCSN. That doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but
Arizona and Phoenix is the University of Arizona in the Valley. I don't think so.
Wow. Well, subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel because U of A has a huge game tonight, and Mike Luke will be going live on the PHNX Wildcats post-game show. So be sure to check that out as well. I always want to spread the love to everybody else on PHNX. All right. Anything else that we didn't touch on, either on the game, on Phil Kessel? We didn't even talk about the fact that Phil Kessel was returning to Pittsburgh. He didn't really do a ton in this game. So.
He did it. I was kind of hoping he would, because his career is just as fascinating with all that he's been through with, basically being hated in Boston, being chased out of Toronto. He was spectacular those two postseasons in Pittsburgh when they won back-to-back cups.
Arguably an MVP in one of those outings in the playoffs. Crosby gets the award, but you could have argued that was a Phil Kessel was the best player in that playoffs that year.
He's in the Ironman conversation as we just talked about.
Yeah.
And within the next less than 2 months, Phil Kessel's going to be on the move again. I really wonder where he's going to end up when it's all said and done. But he's proved to me that this season, I think, is his best season as a Coyote. I don't know how you feel, Petey, but at least from a production standpoint, definitely.
Well, one of the things he's changed this year, and he's always been a good shooter, and he's always been a guy on the power play that can walk across the top of the circle and have it and fire the puck and beat a goalie clean. The one thing he's done and added to his game here in Arizona is his ability to make a pass. My God, does he pass the puck hard? Like when you watch him, it's tape to tape and it's a bullet. Like he puts it through sticks, he puts it over sticks. His playmaking abilities this year are something that we haven't seen since he's been here. I know it's part of his repertoire. He's a high skill guy. But that part of his game, I think over the last few years, he's tried to do too much himself, and he's tried to, take it all on himself I got to get the goals because that's what they got me for. I need to score. This year he's been able to distribute the puck more, and he's been able to be a better playmaker. And I think that's something he's added. So if I'm on a team that's looking to win a Stanley Cup, can Phil Kessel help me? I think he can. I don't know if he's going to be in a top 6. He could be in a bottom 6, but he's going to play on the power play. And yes, there are teams that need guys that can score on the power play. And when you look on the standings, those top teams that aren't scoring on the power play, they need a guy like Phil Kessel. So I think he does move at the deadline.
Another super chat from Sammy. Last one. Any current or former Coyotes players fans of In-N-Out Burger besides Phil Kessel? I'm sure they all are. In-N-Out is delicious.
Protein style, right?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
you're okay.
Nothing like a Neapolitan shake from In-N-Out. That's what I wanted last night so bad, but Sean was just going to Whataburger, so I had to settle for a Whataburger shake. Thoughts? No opinions.
Oh,
Craig,
Craig's
I don't.
Oh, we don't hear Craig.
Well, I got my mute on.
Oh,
I didn't even put it on. I don't know what happened there. Austin Matthews is not coming at the trade deadline. Can we get that out of the way for the comments?
Yeah.
He's not this year? We can't put a package together to get Austin down here for the playoff run?
I don't know if any Coyotes retired players are playing in the Waste Management Open Pro-Am. Sorry, I haven't followed that closely. What else haven't we addressed here? I look 10 years younger. I like this one. I want to Andrew, it's the lighting. I stay in dim lights. That's how I do
still go to the hair gel. I don't know what it is, but you do look younger. The gray seems to be gone. It must be the lighting. I don't know what it is.
Because the gray is all in the sideburns here.
I'm going to have to shave my beard because that's where my gray is. I might lose 10 years if I just shave my beard. I'm on it.
That would be fascinating. Well, Phil, speaking of Phil Kessel, Rick Tocchet yesterday, we asked if he still talks to him, and he said he's having a good season, so he's not going to bother him, which was a funny comment. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch the Rick Tocchet interview, head over to after you finish this, you can go back in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel and watch that. It's also on podcast as an audio episode as well. So make sure to listen to that. There's some hilarious stories from coaching days with Petey. Did you, Craig, watch the Arthur the dog video, and did you cry?
Yes and yes. My entire family cried. First of all, Petey, it was the same feeling when I walked into the living room. I was like, all right, we're going to watch, because my youngest wanted to watch a movie. I'm like, we're going to watch this video first. It's only 14 minutes long. And there's just eye rolling. And then I told them, it's about a dog. And they're like, okay, whatever. And then by the end, of course, they're just sobbing. Everybody's sobbing. That's the same effect on everybody.
It's the same reaction every time someone walked in the room. I said, "Talk, it's going to be about a dog." He's like, "Come on, a dog? Really? A dog?" And he watched it, and then Phil Housley walked in, and we're going to show a dog, like a dog. And the players, the first minute, are rolling their eyes, and all of a sudden, look at that dog. And I sincerely, when people go watch it, it's a feel good, happy ending. It really is. It's a good story. It's 13 minutes long.
It's a more feel-good, happy ending than this game. So if you need a palate cleanser from tonight, you can go over. We tweeted out from the PHNX_Coyotes Twitter account, which, by the way, as of this very moment, 50 more followers away from 2,500.
Oh, 50.
Wow,
so that's a big jump in the last 2 weeks.
Almost hit that there. Goal. The people want to see
getting
Craig.
Thirsty.
The people want to see Craig finish an IPA, so chipping away at our goals. I feel like
we'll get a good one, right? We'll get a good one. Like, we're gonna get a good beer.
Yeah. It doesn't have. It could be a mild IPA.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
IPA.
Yeah.
I haven't tasted one yet. A lot of people have made that promise to me. Oh, you'll like this one.
You'll like this one. This is the one, Craig. This is the one of all the IPAs. This is the one that you're definitely going to like because they're not all the same. Well, yeah, they are.
Sammy D, that's a toss-up. I don't know. Ketchup or IPA, those are.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Wow. Well, maybe next
of
Twitter.
Maybe next show.
Next
50
Twitter
away.
goal in between the 3,000 and the 2,500, maybe like 2,750. I'll have to wear an ASU shirt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to find something for you. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
we can get on that.
Yeah,
I think that's only fair.
I do think that's fair too. So everyone, well, let's just throw it out there now. Everybody should start thinking about the best way to punish Leah.
We already starved her, so
we've already got it from Mac at 3,500. So maybe we extend it out to like 3,750 or 4,000. But if we
4,000,
get to, we got to come up with something really good for Leah.
Yeah, I already didn't get to eat dinner that one time. There was breaking Coyotes news.
Breaking news. Put her on a fast.
Oh my god!
So that's out. It's coming.
Lord.
The time is coming.
All right, you guys. Any final thoughts on the game, on Keith, on anything else before we head out?
Halfway through the season, the Coyotes are who we thought they were.
We are.
Oh, I know how to. I know how to end. I know how to end it. Let's throw up the rebuild reminder because I think that is.
By the way, somebody wants to see your drift car.
Maybe that's the challenge. Maybe we get her out at the Phoenix Raceway.
Phoenix Raceway.
And make
we
Leah
can do like the staged break-in of Leah's apartment.
Yeah, actually, that's not bad.
We're rebuilding the franchise, not my apartment door. Come on. All right. Rebuild reminder. There it is. You can take it off.
Yeah, and that's right where they want to be almost. Like who would have thunk that they'd be battling with at this point in the season? If you would have said at the beginning of the year, they would be battling for the cellar with the Montreal Canadiens, the Stanley Cup finalist, Montreal Canadiens, 41 games in. They've both played 41 games, and the Arizona Coyotes are ahead by 1 point, 24-23. And now after tonight, what were the Coyotes? They are now leading the minus race.
Yep.
So.
Differential.
And that's usually the big key to who finishes where. And so they're, gosh, I don't even know what it is now. They're minus 66, and the Montreal Canadiens are minus 64 in plus minus goals. So that's usually a good indicator. There's a lot of hockey left, and they play each other one more time in Montreal, right? Am I right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Was that a sound effect or an actual?
They heard that I might be driving a car.
We do need that graphic. Leah and her drift car. We should start designing the PHNX drift car.
The Leah's street racing gang. Oh my gosh. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to our post-game show. Once again, we will be back with a Down the I-10 episode this week, so stay tuned to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel and the PHNX Coyotes are wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe, leave us a review, a 5-star review. All of that really, really helps. And please follow PHNX_Coyotes on Twitter if you haven't done so already. We're so close. Maybe we can hit it by this weekend. And someone might have a birthday coming up, so maybe it'll be a good birthday gift for that someone.
Nobody that I know of. You just had a birthday.
Yes.
No, not mine.
I know. I was told not to acknowledge it. So
somebody else.
I'm towing the line here. But just know that 2 people that I am on the show with have January birthdays. I'll just throw that out there. We'll end on that one. We'll be back for our post-game shows Friday and Saturday night as well. And until then, have a great week, everyone, and we'll be back later this week. Good night.